Armchair.
Waking up after that start, I was like, okay, this sucks. Something is weird here. And then that same feeling is persisting all week long. Then I go into my start yesterday, and that same feeling just, it pops or whatever the hell happened to my elbow. Like I feel it. Something happens.
By the way, so you always lose your or take your video off when we go to break. Are you Jeffrey tubing us over here?
No, just drinking coffee. Sometimes I get up and walk around.
Well, you forgot to take it off when you were filing your nails.
Yes, I did.
We got a big laugh out of that one. Brian said that your man card was revoked. It's like, and I said that's a long time ago. That thing was revoked.
That was that's, you don't know me very well. He can tell you, my man. I don't know that I ever actually had a man card since I was like 22. We're good.
I think I revoked that around 97, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. That sounds about right.
Armchair.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
By Pfizer.
But you're talking about a bunch of unproven kids who were in the prom. You know, literally, they were in the prom like 6 months ago at their high school, and that
they weren't because
they were on lockdown.
Exactly.
Okay, they were at a virtual.
These are promless teenagers.
If he's from a Big Ten state,
they were at a.
If he's from a Big Ten state, he didn't have prom. I can guarantee you that.
They were at a virtual prom. Anyway, so it's tough for Wisconsin, man.
It's called porn. It's called porn.
Stop it. They get a break this week because I
got a mess to clean up, guys.
Yeah.
There's my walk off for the day. Thanks, Mac. I gotta dry my keyboard out now.
All right, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. Me and Sean will be back in a flash as I try to straighten up.
Yeah,
secondary is not as big a joke as everybody.
The biggest question I want to know is, have they figured out how to cover freaking Tyreek Hill? Because he torched Tampa's secondary in that first game. He had something ridiculous, like 150 yards plus in the first quarter.
There's only one way to cover Tyreek Hill, and that's put Mahomes on his back so he can't throw it. There really is no other option.
Cheap shots.
Heard.
I mean, he's a small guy.
I don't know how you catch him to put the cheap shot on him, but if you can catch him.
Who's the young man that caught the jugular touchdown for the Bucs? Miller? Is that the wide receiver?
Scotty Miller.
Maybe you can get him, because I'm wondering, that dude's got some wheels. Now, he might not have cheetah wheels, but maybe.
You see Chris Carter's comments on Scotty Miller?
No, I did not.
Not word for word, don't quote me, but it was just, they said on that play before halftime, the reason that the Green Bay corner pressed up on him is because he was white. So
where did he say this at?
Unfortunately, he's got booted from a plethora of networks now. He was last seen on Fox Sports 1, but
wait a minute, who did you say?
Chris Carter.
Oh, Chris Carter. I thought you said Chris Collinsworth. I was like, Chris Collinsworth said that?
No, it was Chris Carter.
It's not all over the.
He's always talking about trending with his son, and what I say, stupid. There you go, Dad.
I was like, how the hell is that going under the radar? Because I still can't believe the thing that we talked about yesterday didn't get more play on ESPN with their putting the 4 black coaches up. Or I guess that wasn't yesterday. I guess that was Monday. Putting their 4 black coaches up there and saying it's the first time in history, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams, and then because he's an assistant head coach, he's actually in charge of the running game. It's not a major coach, but they referred to as the first time in history that 4 coaches were all black of the major coordinators that have made it to the Super Bowl. And we talked about how big of a joke that was for ESPN to be bringing that up, that you're reducing these guys to just their race. and they're acting as if there's never been some kind of a barrier broken. Tony Dungy, for Christ's sake, won the Super Bowl, right?
Against Lovie Smith.
Right, against Lovie Smith. So you had two black coaches that went up against each other. I thought all that junk was gone, but now they're trying to cram it down our throat again because evidently ESPN's just become the most racist network I've ever come across. I mean, everything that they do is race baiting. I'm surprised they're not talking about it right now. Well, I bet you they are to a degree because they're asking who should Sean Payton's name as the quarterback in week 1. I bet you they're saying it's Jameis. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Really? I mean, that's what ESPN's talking about? We're 9 months away from that. Ugh. They got to get experts on other sports, man. That's ridiculous.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by our mystery sponsor, a product that is so good that they're paying us to keep anyone from associating it with this program.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been plagued by refusals.
Good morning. Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. How the hell are you, Mr. Matt Carr?
I'm doing good because I was not looking at the screen, and then I looked up and I wanted a Slim Jim.
Hey, I don't think a lot of people have noticed I've added this to the repertoire this year. Look at this tacky ass thing. We were getting our jabs at and you know, this is how they get you. They say the jabs are free. Well, I bought this stupid thing. You're getting our jabs. Because I was like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? I said, oh, I got plans. That
was a very good. When I turned around, that was very good. I got my shirt on. Like, you can't see what it says, but it's a shirt that all proceeds go to veterans. When you buy this type of shirt, all the proceeds go to veterans. I got it in Pensacola a couple of years ago. So
awesome.
That's my little.
So you went with the serious look, and I went,
as did you,
and I went with jackassery. Well, I'm very serious about this weekend. It's all like Donkey Kong. We're not going to have a show Monday or Tuesday because I'm trying to let everyone kind of recharge their batteries, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So we'll be back on Wednesday. For people who watch Braves Country, I will be doing that on Monday and Tuesday because that doesn't take long and I don't have to drag anyone else into it. But I'm gonna be doing it with a hangover, man. I'm telling you right now. Sunday's gonna get ugly. Friday, Saturday is gonna be kind of like precursors. Sunday's gonna get ugly.
Yeah, Sunday. I think Sunday's our day if we're doing anything. I think the Nelsons might come over, and PJ and his family might come over. Maybe. If not, I mean, we're still going to be cooking out and be by the pool, so it's going to be a good day.
Justin just told us that I guess the Littles pool is opening up this weekend. For people who don't know, we're talking about one of our Wilder friends. He's got a house way out in the middle of nowhere, and I guess they're getting the pool ready and basically drunken debauchery out there as well. So you'll have it in the city and they'll have it out in it's gonna be just stupidness. My plan is as of around 8:00 this evening, I will not be on the road the entire weekend. I'm going to be in this little area. We got the pool cleaned up. Our yard guy is ready because he normally mows on Fridays. That dude was out there like noon yesterday going, I'm getting the hell out. I'm getting out of town, man. Y'all just gonna have to deal.
I will tell you this about that. What I learned from this last vacation, we were in like a golf cart community. Man, that's where it's at. Like my end game someday, wherever I move to, is going to be a golf cart community. That's awesome. You could golf cart everywhere you go. Everybody had golf carts. You can park anywhere. It was great.
They don't pop you for drinking and driving those?
They did not that time.
Exactly that time. But I will be the poster child.
with this outfit.
It'd be like that guy. I forget his name, but the guy that got popped in Murfreesboro years ago. He got his 7th or 8th DUI, and this time it was on a bicycle. And I'm like, dude, at that point, quit being an ass.
I mean, what did George Jones? I mean, you can take away my everything, but you can't take away my old John Deere.
Right, exactly. They popped him. I don't think they gave him a DUI, but this guy, they gave him a DUI because he was a regular in one of the bars that I worked in. And then I was like, what happened to him? And they said, he's in jail. I'm like, for what? They said, for drinking and driving. I was like, he hasn't had a car in 2 years. What do you get popped for? Whose car is he having? It was his bicycle. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I mean, come on. If you are drinking and driving on a bicycle, the only person you're going to hurt is yourself. Okay?
Armchair.
So turn that auto-tune and mumble crap off from the other guys.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been playing hoodwinked.
Look, man, you can drive. Go. Just go. Good morning. Welcome back into the Armchair Quarterbacks. Florida lost, though.
Yep. Nice.
Lost to South Florida. Oh, man.
Tim Tebow's winning. And
Man, I haven't even messed with Tony because I can imagine he's just irate. He went to that game, rain delay, and they lose. Oh, my God.
He might not come on the show next week if you give him too much credit.
I know. We were doing the Gators and golf show yesterday morning, and he was on his way over there. And anyways, I mean, I don't really want to see him go over and watch his team lose, but I can't tell you how much I do not like the Gators. That is built into me. My dad, Florida State graduate from the early 60s. All right. The last one before we hit the playing Pepper. Kimbrel is rolling. Do you think he's basically found the fountain of youth and he's back, or what? I mean, is he going to keep this going on all year long?
Man, I really think so. And I would have never thought that, obviously, after the last season. He has a .78 ERA. He's pitched in 23 games, 13 saves, 39 strikeouts, and his whip matches his ERA. So he's not walking people. He, I don't know how to really explain this in the greatest sense, but you can just see the snap on his pitches. Like, he's just finishing his pitches much better. I feel like he's not hanging his breaking ball. The confidence is back. Every time he steps on the mound, you're like, oh God, you can just tell him. And he gets up there and he fires away. He's not thinking too much. I think when his breaking ball stopped working a little bit last year and the velocity was a little down, his confidence got shot. But man, I can't argue when you have the same whip as you do ERA and you're just lights out. I think he's found it for at least this season. I don't know about beyond, but for this year, yes.
I keep calling him Samson because the dude grows his hair out, and all of a sudden he's like Kimbrel from 2016. I was like, where the hell was this dude? Like he's the 2018 Red Sox. The 2018 Red Sox won the World Series despite he was the closer, because I mean, there was that last game of the Yankees Red Sox series that got them to the World Series. The ball was caught at the wall and there were batters on. I mean, that game, he almost went down in Red Sox lore. And then they went and they beat the Dodgers, and the Dodgers got screwed again because they were using watches, and the Astros are banging trash cans. The Dodgers, we're just trying to play baseball over here. Would y'all knock it off? Let's go ahead and play some Pepper here on the neighborhood play. All right, first one we'll throw at you. The Chicago White Sox have acquired an Anaheim Angel. Any one of your choice.
An Anaheim Angel.
Who would you take? Would you take Ohtani? Would you take Mike Trout? assuming he's healthy. Or, I mean, those are the two main ones. But would you go with Ohtani or would you go with Trout?
That's a really tough one because Ohtani just brings so much to this to the game of baseball. Both at the plate and on the mound. And then you know what you're going to get with Mike Trout. Easily the best player we've seen in baseball in decades, right? But if I had to take one, I think I'd like to bring Shohei to Chicago.
Wow.
I'm going to totally dissent. Like he's just so exciting. His potential as a pitcher, we don't even know like how much better he can become. And then at the plate,
surprise for you, Mike Trout's going to join us. Mike, come on in. No.
Well, there goes any chances of him coming to Chicago, I suppose, right? But no, I think Shohei he's just one of the most exciting players in baseball we've seen in decades. The guy can pitch
It's such a hard choice because, first of all, both of them can't stay healthy. But assuming they're healthy, I mean, do you add an ace type pitcher? And I don't know if he's quite an ace, but he's at least a number 2 to the staff and a DH. Or do you add one of the greatest players to ever play the game and his defense is off the charts? That's one of the things that always gets left out about how great Trout is. Everyone wants to focus on his bat. His glove is an all-timer as well.
I guess I might have to take back what
out of the outfield, then. You can keep
take back what I said. The woes that the White Sox have in the outfield, maybe Mike Trout might be the safer play for us. I don't know.
Would you be willing to send Jimenez and you have to send more than that to get Mike Trout. Would you send Jimenez and Giolito for Mike Trout?
I think I'm taking that deal in a heartbeat. As much
yeah,
as
you have to, I think.
Yeah, as much as it would hurt me to lose Giolito because of the hometown love. You can't pass.
Cubs get the same question. Are you taking Trout or are you taking Ohtani? And it's for this year, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for just argument's sake, it'll just be draft picks, okay? So in other words, you're thinking of this year's team. Are you going to add one of the best players to ever play the game into your outfield, or are you going to help that pitching staff?
Now, people might call me crazy, and I'm going to, even though I said Wilder Christian, I would probably do Ohtani for this season just because our starting pitching needs that help. And that's the only thing that's been the negative spot for the Cubs right now is their bullpen and their hitting has been there. So I love Mike Trout, obviously one of the best players to ever put on a uniform. But at the same time, if our lineup is already producing at a pretty good rate, and when it comes down to playoffs, you need that starting pitcher, I think he would easily fill in and probably be our number 1 right off the bat. I mean, maybe number 2, but probably number 1. So for this team specifically, I would go Ohtani.
All right. Throw this at y'all because we're running out of time. Christian, the Miami Marlins never get any fans, no matter what Steven tries to tell us weekly basis. They're going to get any fans. We're coming out of COVID. Florida's wide open, and there's like 4 guys sitting in the stands every time you turn around a Marlins game, right? So we're going to take the Marlins out of Florida. We're going to put them anywhere you want to put them. What city would you set them in?
That's an easy one for me. I think the Montreal Expos was a phenomenal organization. Montreal, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're correct.
They had some of the most kick-ass uniforms. I remember Vladdy smacking the ball around out there. It's a baseball city. People follow baseball in Canada as well. Toronto's a pretty successful franchise. I don't see why Montreal couldn't be the same. It's pretty cold over there. Nobody's got a reason to be outside like they do in Miami. So I think Montreal would be the place to be for me.
So I went to the Jacksonville game, the minor league team here at the Jumbo Shrimp the other day, and the Expos used to be one of their teams. I don't know, 15 years ago, they were the Jacksonville Expos, something like that. And anyways, the night that we went, they just happened to wear the old Expos uniforms.
Wow.
Now they're not affiliated with the Nationals in any way. They're actually the Marlins AAA team, which is kind of fun to watch because you're basically dealing with these guys are like a week away from going and playing for the Marlins, right? Because we all know the Marlins stink, right? It was really cool to see those unis out there. All right, Christian, we have now put the Marlins in Montreal. We're going to take the damn Rays out of Tampa. Okay. They're not getting any fans either. Now you don't necessarily have to take them out of the state of Florida, but you got to take them out of Tampa. Where are we going to put the Tampa Bay Rays?
This one might sound kind of crazy because it's not a sports city whatsoever, but there's a lot of diehard baseball fans in Iowa. Like the Cubs have a huge following in Iowa, and I think why couldn't we see a successful baseball team out there? They don't have much else to cheer for other than the Hawkeyes, really. So, why not give them something to root for?
All right, I might have said Christian. I meant Joey. Joey, where are you going to put the Rays? Sorry.
Viva Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, because Tampa Bay, they're actually in St. Petersburg, which is actually a little bit of a pain because the Buccaneer Stadium is right in the heart of Tampa. St. Petersburg's a beautiful town, but people aren't really traveling over there. But what better money-making move? You already moved the Vegas Knights. You already got the Raiders. Why not move a baseball team to Vegas and just blow that crap up? People will show up. I mean, people are going to be there, regardless of, I guess if they suck or something. But people don't show up in Tampa Bay Rays games when they're good, so you might as well move them to Vegas and make that money maker, in my opinion.
I'll tell you one of the rumors that's been going on around here down in Florida is there's a real conversation about the Rays splitting their home with Tampa and Montreal.
Really?
There's a real conversation.
I've heard that.
A lot of people are poo-pooing on you can't have a team. Why not? Why can't you have a team with two hometowns? I think it's a smart idea because if you're going to put a second town for the Rays, it makes sense because they play in the AL East that their second town would be up in Montreal, right?
Right.
Because you'd be playing against Toronto in most years when everything's open. You would have the Montreal Toronto thing going on there, and then of course Montreal's not that far from New York and Boston. The one city I would like to see them explore, though it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon because they can't get their act together on the team to buy. But Nashville, Tennessee, I believe, is a city that's eventually going to. The problem is they're going to have to be an American League team because the Atlanta Braves, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cincinnati Reds are like basically like if Nashville's here, they're like this, and they're all going to fight over television rights for the National League. So you need to make them an American League team.
Right.
So I don't know, put them in the same division of like the
White Sox.
Yeah, White Sox and Royals and everything like that. It would make a lot of sense.
Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. Armchair.
Community access channel. It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been plagued by refusals. I've been hoodwinked.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Armchair Quarterbacks here on CBS Sports Radio. Me and Matt try to get our cardio in. The weight loss challenge.
And I'm done for the week.
Armchair.
The news coming out of New York that the Mets general manager Jared Porter. Did you catch this story this morning? This is unbelievable from Jeff Passan. He got busted, or he's in the process of proving it's him, but the story's out there and it's got fire. It has got a lot of smoke because ESPN's Passan's writing about it. If he's writing about it, there's some legitimacy to it. That dude doesn't put his name to anything, right? The Jets general manager, I guess back in 2016. Now this guy just got hired by the new ownership of the Mets. I might have said Jets, but the new ownership of the Mets hire Porter. He used to work for Theo Epstein and the Cubs. So he's worked for the Cubs in 2016. Of course, that's the championship year. So he was full of himself and thinking that he was, hot to trot. And it's coming out that he sent nude photos, especially several pictures of his pickle, to at least one. There's now reports that it could be multiple, but we know of at least one female sports reporter who said that she declined his advances several times over months. And then that's when he got aggressive and started showing his Vlasic area or his eggplant area, whatever you want. I guess you have to use eggplant when you're doing emojis, is what most people use.
You text too much, man.
By the way, Cohen, welcome to ownership.
Armchair.
Justin, what is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Is Phillip Rivers eligible to coach the Volunteers? And if he turns us down, can Drew Brees retire today and steal his thunder so he doesn't get the whole day to himself?
Does he have a year of eligibility left to just go back and play quarterback for the Volunteers?
If not, we can borrow one of his children. Can he enroll them and just go play for him?
That's a big McDonald's sack to get freaking to get him in there. You might have to fill that full of Bitcoin instead of just plain old cash. That's all.
You're on to something there. You're on to something. Bitcoin.
Exactly. Pay him in Bitcoin, and no one knows the difference.
Hey, can I borrow your skipper, Sean, so you can come down here and tell us how to do this next scheme?
Sure. I mean, he's not busy yet. We haven't signed anybody. There's all these guys out there in Major League Baseball free agency, and the Tigers are just down in Lakeland, counting their surplus money from last year's TV revenue.
I'll tell you what, that the re-signing of Jim Harbaugh doesn't look so bad to Tennessee fans.
No,
they were chuckling about a week ago.
Now.
Now they're like, hey, that wouldn't have been too bad.
Yep. About 2 weeks ago, I was like, fine, run it back. And now I'm like, hey, could always be worse. You could be UT.
I'll tell you what, around August, I was starting to think, man, maybe Florida State should have hired Jeremy Pruitt. Woo! I'm glad we got bullet dodge.
Well, I mean, we got with cause. I mean, we're paying less money per win. We're both still getting about 3.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we're in the same boat.
Program back is what I'm saying. Is just like,
because you knock it off right now. Norvell is not your next coach. You know who it's going to be, and it's fine because I like it. But Neon Dion's making his move down there in Jackson State. He'll be back to he'll be in Hassey in a couple of years. Norvell better not get too comfortable because I tell you what, somebody stole Dion's boombox on a recruiting trip, and that's just cold-hearted right there. I mean, he should have had a bigger McDonald's bag, and they wouldn't have took his boombox.
I don't know if going like 3-6 could make anyone comfortable in their job. He better get to getting this year. That's all I know. He's, he's got Milton coming in. He's got some offensive linemen that are coming in. I kind of expect a couple will hit the transfer portal from Knoxville and head our way. He's
what about Wanye Morris has already signed at Oklahoma? Speaking of that, they've already lost top
Did
talent.
they really?
Yes.
Yeah,
you've got Ty Chandler, running backs already play for Mac Brown in North Carolina. So
Ty
North Carolina
Chandler's
just
going
got a whole lot better in the backfield.
You cut up for a split second. Ty Chandler's going to North Carolina?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
McGee, did you just I missed it on the transfer thing. Did you say Milton was already in the portal and down to Florida State from Michigan?
No, Milton from a lot of people have forgotten about him. 2 years ago, he was the leading passer in the country from Central Florida, and he hurt his knee like the last.
Okay, gotcha.
I want to say it was like their conference championship. It was late in the season, so he didn't play at all last year. He could have played at the very end, but they were like, "What's the point?" And so he's coming back one more year. So he's going to be like BYU age, is what I always call guys. Like he's like 23, 24.
I thought you had meant Joe Milton, who started the year for U of M, and then he got overtaken by Cade McNamara at the end of the year because he's originally from Florida, I think.
Is he in the portal already?
I hadn't heard it. That was why. Yeah, I mean, he was good in the Minnesota game, and then really, really bad after that.
He kind of got exposed once they started making him throw, right?
Yeah.
He's like a really poor man's Lamar Jackson. So
like a homeless man's Lamar Jackson. Yes, to be exact.
A panhandler, Lamar Jackson.
A panhandler's Lamar Jackson.
What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Oh, I like to talk a little golf. Golf is at Quail Hollow this weekend. It's a little slower.
Are they at a putt and a putt? I saw like the leader's already 7 under. Like what?
Yeah, it's they can make that course really tough if they want. They've had the PGA there a couple years ago, and scores weren't that crazy, but it'll. Yeah, even Phil shot 7 under yesterday, so maybe they need to reevaluate things.
Armchair.
Clock Eastern, UConn's 15-6. I'm a little interested to see how good they really are, and then Georgetown is on a run. They are going to be in the semifinals as well. They're playing Seton Hall. Seton Hall got the upset, so Georgetown has a chance to pull off a I don't want to say miracle, but they have a chance to get to the Big East championship game, and who the hell knows? Did you see this whole thing with Patrick Ewing?
I seen that he said that the MSG guards or security were, I guess, giving him a hard time, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't read any more than that. I don't know what they were meaning.
He was all pissed off because they're wanting to see ID, and he was like, he goes, "Is my jersey not hanging in these rafters? I should not have to get." He basically. You want to talk about privilege? This guy's full of privilege, right? He's mad that they asked for his ID, and I get it. If you're in New York City and working at Madison Square Garden, you should probably know who Patrick Ewing is, but you're also under the huge assumption that everyone that does security is a sports fan, and a lot of them are not, because one of the reasons why they get into that and do what they do is because they don't give a damn if they miss the game, right? Now, there are some sports fans that do security, don't get me wrong, but that's a huge assumption. And Patrick Ewing has not played in Madison Square Garden in 21 freaking years. So, although I get it on the big term, this isn't like Michael Jordan. People were trying to compare that. Michael Jordan is a worldwide known face, right? He comes off kind of like an ass to me. And I always liked Patrick Ewing, so I'm not trying to kill him, but he comes off as an elitist ass. They give you credentials, show your damn credentials, and shut the hell up. There's a rumor out that he's pissed off because they're making him go through COVID protocols, and that's interesting if that truth comes out.
I mean, in fairness, though, if you look at when that jersey was put in that banner and you look at current day guy, they don't look similar. Like, I can honestly see where somebody wouldn't recognize him. He's not rocking the same hairdo or physique.
Now, I will say this. The dude's 7 feet tall. So that ought to be your first indication that he's something. He's also wearing Georgetown jumpsuit, right? So you got to figure he's involved with the coaching staff at all. But your job is to make damn sure.
Your job is to make sure nobody comes in and does something bad.
Yeah, your job is to make sure he is who he says he is.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really sad that someone would want that to rake, because probably right now this morning, a bunch of MSG security guards are probably getting yelled at by their superior and shouldn't be getting yelled at by their superior. But I mean, I would, next time he come rolling through this morning, I'd make damn sure I wanted the hell out of him. I might even accidentally tase him.
Oops.
I'd be like, hey, check it out, bro. You know why you don't get the privilege up in here? I know you think yourself as a New York Knick, but maybe I'm a St. John's Redmond fan, right? And maybe I remember you your Hoyas beating my St. John's team back in the day. What's your walk-off?
You were never allowed to do security. If anybody was thinking about reaching out, my co-host is not the guy for you.
Yeah.
He's got a happy trigger finger on the taser.
I did it for a long time, man. I do have a funny story about that real quick. The short of it is, because we're running out of time, our buddy Billy was doing security at the same time, and he texted me one day. He was doing security at the airport, and this is shortly after 9/11. He said, "Man, this dude come rolling through here, biggest jerk I've ever met." He said he was he was a real ass, and he had a Florida Gator shirt on, right? He said, "Man," he goes, "I pulled his bag out of the line when we went through every single nook and cranny." Yeah, baby. Only thing that was missing was.
I'm in blues. Left us dead.
Welcome back into the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Armchair.
Michael wants to know where Doug is. We'll see what happens with that. You rattled his chain the other day.
I like Doug. Doug doesn't know me well, but you know me well. I only mess with people I like. I don't.
He's funny, man.
Everybody else I don't talk to.
He's funny, man. He will take it personally the entire year and do everything he can. I can't wait until your matchups. I'm actually going to pay attention to your matchups like I'm watching Kansas City Royals baseball this year. I'm going to be watching that. I could just see Doug destroying his roster just to beat you one week. He got so mad at that guy, David Gray. I'll never forget that because, we talked about it a little bit that day, but I kind of forgot. He held that damn, and this is more of a true hatred. Like, he knows you're giving him a hard time. He thought at the time that David was actually out for him and didn't like he held a grudge. And me and the other manager at the time that worked at that restaurant, we were like, dude, would you relax? Like, it's a fantasy. I don't even think we were playing for money that year in that league. And but he's got like a pride with it. I think it's almost like he takes it as an insult if someone thinks that he can't figure something out. I think if you were playing him in actual basketball or baseball, he wouldn't get as mad. But because it comes down to, are you smart enough to beat him? He took it like and you'd also have to know this guy, David. He's kind of a jackass. Okay. So he's kind of not well liked to begin with. He was just drunk that would come into the bar, spew his and I know I give you a hard time, Sean, but I'm talking about left-wing lunatic ideas that he would spew, and he would be drinking those big dark beers and just couldn't. Once you turn that valve on, you couldn't stop him. And he was a baseball fan. I think he was a bit of a football fan, but it seemed like he was more of a baseball fan. So that's why he started coming into our restaurant, because we got the baseball ticket. So he'd come here in the afternoon and watch a few innings and go home and, I don't know, beat his wife or whatever the hell he did. Because he just didn't give Nolan Ryan, Roggle. And for some reason, there was an actual rivalry between him and Doug. And so it began. He is more of just a loony loon, right?
Right. Loony loon aggressive.
What do you mean you can't give money away constantly? You just there and go, dude, I got to get back to work. Well, no, let's talk. No, see, I've got this thing called a budget. I've got, you evidently live in a world where there's none, but I actually have one. So
I got to knock out this thing called rent.
Right. And then meanwhile, in the back, Doug worked in the back of the kitchen. He's out there sticking his head outside going, let me ask you this. Can you whip my ass? Archie smartsy mother. Sean finally woke up. He said, ask Doug about the Reds this year. And will they finish last? Will the Raiders draft a punter in the first round? He's already coming at you, man. When y'all play, are y'all playing the first week?
No, I've got Rocky Top all week.
Okay. I can't wait till y'all play, man, because that's going to be some fun rhetoric going back and forth.
Yeah, because, in the one auction league, I'm afraid of that catcher, Ifra Bobby, whatever his name was.
Armchair.
They were talking about how, so Freeman was coming into the league as a young kid as Chipper was on his way out, and Chipper kind of took him under his wing, right? And he said how great it was to watch him mature into a great player, et cetera, et cetera. And they've got the old funny story back in the day where Freeman was he was broken down in traffic, and Chipper went out. It was during like an ice storm or something. I forget the details now. But anyways, Chipper went out in his ATV in the Atlanta area and went through mud and everything, went and grabbed Freddie Freeman out of his vehicle that was broke down. And Freeman jumped in the back. And so it became such a big story. They ended up doing a bobblehead for this. Okay. There's a bobblehead out there, and I wish I could get it, but man, every time I go on eBay to look at it, it's stupid expensive. It's not worth it. But you see Freddie in the back of the ATV, almost like straddling Chipper, and it's just a really funny bobblehead. So they asked Chipper, now that Freddie has an MVP, does that mean he gets to ride up front with you? He said, "No, man, his MVP was only a 60 gamer."
Armchair.
Good morning. Welcome. Armchair Quarterbacks, Gators and Golf with Tony Aguilini. Tony, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
Let me turn that music down. That's pretty loud. I'm doing great. Try to get a better intro music for you, and I can't find this one file. But anyways, we'll get it found by next week.
I can tell you anything's better than Joe Carter's home run.
Well, that's buying time waiting for you to show up is what that is. that
was my punishment. I had to listen to that. So since you'll enjoy this, there's a guy in my office, and he's not as old as me, and we were talking Braves Blue Jays, and I was like, yeah, as soon as I saw that matchup, I couldn't help but think of that disaster in '93, and
right
then I realized he hadn't been born yet, and kind of had no idea. He knew the story, but really didn't know the pain. So kind of, I guess, like Lindsey Scott.
Yeah.
Cognizant.
We've got quite a few on the show where I always have to, as I'm in the middle of saying something, I'm like, wait a minute, do you even remember that?
Right.
I like, Joey's, I would say I think he's late 20s. And then we got the newcomer, Bobby, the big Arizona Cardinal and Florida Gator fan. And he's graduating high school this year. So when we were talking about Tebow the other day, I had to ask him, wait a minute, do you even remember Tebow playing at Florida? And it was like the beginning of his fandom. I think it's essentially why he became such a big Gator fan. And we did the math, and he was like, to me, he's 6 or 7. I was like, man, I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised you even remember it. 6, 7 years old. A lot of kids don't even get into football, like actually knowing what the hell is going on till like 10 or 11 years old. I was one of those weird ones too, around 6 years old. I knew exactly who guys like Greg Allen were, and Kelly Lowry, and all the rest. I guess to be 6 years old, it would have to be Jimmy Jordan was the quarterback back then.
Armchair.
Team schedules are out. The NFL schedule is out. They're heading back to London, which, why in God's name they're putting the Miami Dolphin Jaguar game in London? Two teams from the same state in a year where you're bringing back fans to the stands would have been a perfect opportunity for Jacksonville to not only sell the place out, but also you'd have Tua versus Trevor, the whole 9 yards, and they put the damn thing in London.
I'm with you there. I was saying the other day, like all the positive momentum from having Trevor Lawrence, and we think we had a good draft and a fresh start, and Coach Meyer and all that stuff, and then I guess they're going to eventually pull the Tebow stunt, and then you're going to ship the two teams that are 4 hours away to London to go play. And the London game, I always, the last few years, I'm tired of it, obviously. Like, I'd rather have the game here. I don't have season tickets, so I don't feel like ripped off in that way. But, it's still a home game that the fans should get to enjoy, and they ship one off. And, if I had season tickets, like, that's the Dolphin game's a marquee one. There's always a bunch of Dolphin fans there. I've got Dolphin friends, obviously. And, it's a fun atmosphere. It's as close to a rivalry game, really, as you can have. If you're Jacksonville, they try to make the Titans game a rivalry here. I think it is for Jacksonville, but it's not for Tennessee.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I've always thought just ship a divisional game over there. Maybe you lose your
put the
home field
Texans
advantage or
over
whatever.
there.
But I'd rather if you're going to see a new opponent, I'd rather see him here than watch him on TV in London.
Put the Texans game over there, but
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they don't want to put Dr. Rapey over in London, so they're worried about that kind of fiasco. But there's
But, like,
got to be
when the Jaguars first started, like if it was the Green Bay game, and like I think it was either the first or second year we had Brett Favre here, and the game was awesome. I think it even went to overtime. It was like a Sunday night or Monday night game. There's a Monday night game back then, and like I would have been pissed if they sent that Green Bay game where my one chance to see Brett Favre in person, they ship it to London. Like that's
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you. Make it a divisional game because, like you said, you don't always get a chance to see some of these players. And if you're a season ticket holder of the Jacksonville Jaguars and have been through the thick and thin, you'd probably like to be able to sit in the stands and watch Tua versus Trevor, right? I mean, there's a lot of electricity. I actually would have probably made that. Jacksonville never gets to get on the night games, and I know that they've got them in on a Thursday night game because I think that's contractually obligated where everyone gets to. I think I would have put that Tua versus Trevor on a Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Do it early in the season so the Jaguar season isn't over, right?
Right.
But make that then a Monday night game. Make that the second week of the season or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem. It seems really strange. Why not put the Falcons game over there? Who the hell cares about watching the Falcons? I feel like even though they're separate conferences, I feel like they play them every other year. It's weird how often they pop up on the schedule. But anyways, moving on from that, other games that by the way, the Falcons and Jets are going over there too on London. I think they're the week before. So
and they're playing at Tottenham instead of Wembley, which is different.
Yeah, they did that last time. They played at the Tottenham Hotspurs because they have a brand new stadium. I guess it's state of the art. I follow their soccer team, but not religiously. Like if EPL is on, I see Tottenham on, I'll flip over there. But I don't, I don't like riot the stadium because I don't like the Glazers kind of fandom.
They seem to have had a dip in popularity over there the last few weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
As they tried to burn down the stadium the other day. But yeah, to wrap it up, I like the Jaguars schedule. I think it's like week 5 before you see a playoff game. It's as easy as it can get if you're the Jaguars. Problem is, the Jaguars are probably still not going to be.
I love the Thursday night NFL Network game, by the way, the Bengals, because that's what you want. You want Trevor versus Joe Burrow. Hopefully Burrow's back and healthy and everything. That should be fun. The Arizona game on week 3, it should be a lot of fun. You've got Kyler Murray coming in here, so at least we didn't get that stolen from us. But yeah, I'm with you. They need to put divisional games over there. And I know they're probably, we don't always put divisional games, give unfair advantage, blah, 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 blah. But no one cares about Jags versus Texans in week 15. Why not move that around to in October, right?
Yeah. Send that dumb Jets game over there.
Yeah, or that. I mean, if you really want to put, if they really wanted to put the league on that kind of stage, you could have had Zach Wilson versus Trevor Lawrence, and by week 16, well, I guess you'd have to move it around, so it would be somewhere in the middle of October. But by that time, both quarterbacks should be starting it and got their feet underneath them.
That game might be for the first round pick next year.
Yeah, exactly. We've only got a few minutes left, so
when I looked at that schedule, I did have 6 and 11, I think, for next year. 5 and 12 at the worst, 6 and 11, I think.
Yeah, I haven't even started on my predictions on that. I guess we'll start doing that soon. I just had to absorb it all because doing all these shows, trying to cover everyone's team.
You're looking at everybody.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at everybody. I'm also looking at the national, and then I start, then my mind starts working as far as what fantasy football player has an advantage in these, right? So the PGA's next week, correct?
It is, yeah. They're in Dallas this week. Good leaderboard. Justin Spieth had a big day yesterday. He's tied for the lead. That course will get harder today, tomorrow, and Sunday, the winds are going to pick up. Yesterday was a lot like it was here yesterday, where there was absolutely no wind and great weather. So that course will play tougher. I sat here Friday after Rory played terrible on Thursday and told everyone not to pick him for Kiowa. And then over the course of 3 days, he looks like an entirely different golfer and blew the field away minus a screw up on the last hole. But that was awesome the other day to see Rory back winning.
Touchdown, Tennessee! What a great...
This is
Armchair. Armchair.
And it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been begged by...
Good morning.
You're setting me up.
Sorry, I was trying to do like 9 things at once. I can't be a dancer, producer, extraordinaire all at the same time.
Well, not well.
Well, we'll just see come early September what all I can do.
You don't tell me what to do.
I'm looking forward to our trip up there to Music City, by the way.
Yeah, man.
I've got I returned the original one. I'm getting a new one. I didn't read the disclaimer of a draft board that I ordered. Okay. So we're going to do the draft old school. We're going to have a board, stickers, the whole 9 yards. They actually make these things now. We used to do it like, I think we're writing on cardboard back in the day, weren't we? So this one's going to have the player sticker. You're going to put it on there and then I'll enter it into the computer as we go. So I look at it, I get it out of the box. I noticed it didn't say 2021, but what I was hoping is that it was last year's. And then I was like, so all I'm really going to miss is this year's rookie class, which they give you extra stickers to write on, right? Dude, I opened it up. First of all, they jammed it in there. I mean, that thing was beat all to hell. I was already like, what the hell? And then I start looking at names, Andrew Luck, Devin White. And I was like, what in the hell am I looking at here? It was the 2019 draft board. And that was 2019 was being generous. I think it was actually 2018. I think it was the 2018 players. They were calling it 2019 because they had sold it on a January, right? But the players were from 2018. I was like,
right,
this ain't gonna work, man. We can't have everybody written down. So I've got a new one coming. I was trying to save a few bucks, and now I see why. Not only is it old, but it has been jammed all to hell. I mean, I would have even took it if they just would have updated some stickers and said, you know what, to hell with it. Let's just get rid of this board. Let's update the stickers, and away we go, right? No. All right.
No, it'd be fun, man. I'm looking for live drafts are a lot of fun. We try to do live drafts like over the phone, online, and all that jazz. But it's in person is the best way to do it, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's the first one I will have done in a long time in that fashion. Not like, because we've done some live ones where most of us are sitting in the same room, but not every participant. This one, every participant's going to be in that room.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And so if we do have to have a couple, we're going to force them to be on Skype or Zoom or whatever, and they're going to have to make the pick. But that'll be tough for someone having to do that because they're only going to see a room essentially, right? And we're going to be out there talking and shooting the bull and everything. And so I'm going to try to get it to where every single person will be in that room, because that's what I loved about fantasy football. And when we first started talking about doing this last year, me and my wife going up to Nashville, because I said, yes, you know what I miss is really, this is right after we did the draft. I said, I miss being in the same room with the people that I'm drafting with. I said, that was the fun of it.
Right.
And of course the pandemic last year, none of us met in the same room. We all just Zoomed it. Right. And so we got to talk, and she said, why don't you do one up in Nashville? I was like, you want to go to Nashville for a freaking fantasy football draft? And she's like, well, no, we'll go up there for for the weekend and we'll do other things. I said, all right, then I can deal with that. Plus that night Florida State Notre Dame will be playing. So that'll be a lot of fun too, for at least a quarter or so. Till I go, oh my God, it's the same team. I actually have some higher hopes for FSU this year. They got the new quarterback and he's looked pretty good. And I think he can at least keep us respectable and not just an absolute, boat race every single game. So I'm hoping that'll be good. So are you, does the PGA Championship interest you at all?
DraftKings wise, yes, it does.
Okay.
Armchair.
It should be a good leaderboard. John Rahm's playing. There's a bunch of big names. A lot of the guys live in Texas, so they're all playing in this one, and then they'll go to Kiowa next weekend, which will be a blast.
Memorial Day, because we're having a big party over here, and it's a pool party. So not having access to the pool is going to be a bitch.
You got to, it'll be 95 before you know it. So
it needs to be 95 by the time Memorial Day, because we're having a big party over here, and it's a pool. I think it's supposed to be really good weather. It was supposed to be warmer. I keep wanting to warm up so I can get my damn pool. Every time I'm like, all right, we're getting some warm days. And I walk outside yesterday, and you need a parka on. I'm like, everything.
Don't worry, it'll be 95 before you know it. So
it needs to be 95 by the time Memorial Day, because we're having a big party over here, and it's a pool party. So not having access to the pool is going to be a bitch.
You got to, when it's Speedo Memorial Day, you got to get that pool ready. So
yeah, exactly. I told my wife I was going out and getting a Speedo that, we're going exact opposite from last year, with the COVID hair. And she's like, I want to keep my friends. Please don't do that.
Armchair.
Hey everybody, it's Harry for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Get yourself a cold Budweiser every Saturday morning and join in the fun and watch the neighborhood play. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. They talk about my Cubbies. It's Joey Areola, Christian Pledge. He's a White Sox fan, but we'll give him a pass. Hey, why do they call it White Sox? Their jerseys always look very dirty to me. Sounds like something that could be cancel culture to me. Let's look into that, Cubbies fans. It's the neighborhood play, only on the YouTube channel, Armchair Quarterback Show. Harry Carey, signing off. Seeing double, because I'm ordering triples. Go Cubbies and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled.
Woo! Friday morning, baby! Let's go!
Get out.
Having a hell of a time keeping this thing on my head. How the hell are you, Matt Carr?
I'm good, man. It was good to see old Harry Carey still kicking it.
Yeah. We got him climb out of the grave one time. So the reason why I've got this stupid hat on is, can you make out the shirt? Because I know it's kind of difficult.
No, but it looks very Del Boca Vista.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna have to put this on because this damn headset's gonna keep falling off. It's The Office. It's like a banner. And so I was doing like my best Stanley Hudson impression.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what
I didn't have the best damn sunglasses for, but I was doing my best Stanley Hudson because I was like, man, that hat is a lot like Stanley Hudson, the one he wears down there when he goes to Florida. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.